Once again, joining us on Film at 11, Miss Kenya Burks, Chief of Staff for the City of Vicksburg. Miss Burks, we've got a lot of people. We mentioned AmeriCorps in our earlier piece. We got a lot of people that really step up and are good corporate citizens here in Vicksburg. People who pitch in, whether it be through the Parks and Recreation or other agencies that without them, the city couldn't accomplish some of the missions and goals that they set forth. Are there anybody in particular that comes to mind when I say things like this?
We have a variety of different corporate partners and nonprofit partners also that contribute towards our community. The Vicksburg Chamber of Commerce has been very beneficial in helping us to try and move the Washington Street Bridge project forward. And so those members that were a part of the Chamber of Commerce helped us to ask for help from our congressional delegation on that bridge. In addition to that, we found that our casino partners, which make up about a third of our revenues here, are also very much so willing to help out whenever we ask them to help out. Our tourism and bed and breakfast area, they are also very good business partners, and for the most part, just about everyone that's up there on that port, whenever we call on them to help out with youth development initiatives or any other initiative that the mayor thinks is viable and good to move the community forward, they all have pretty open arms and they help us out.
Now, I noticed the en route buses these days. We've got some new buses. In the past, we've had some corporate partnership there. I've been having some discussion with Miss Evelyn Bumpers about that. En route has become a vital part of our community, but we need people to step forward and help them out by making a contribution in that regard, don't we?
Right. En route is a very vital part of our community, and public transportation in general is a very vital part of our community. The En route board has been tasked with trying to get some corporate partnership with those buses. It is my understanding that when they first began, they did get some corporate partnership, but that was not a recurring partnership, that they had some one-time hits. And so they are tasked with the job of going out to get some more corporate partnership and maybe wrapping the buses with the advertisement from those corporate partners and making sure that we have public transportation for the tourists that come in, and most importantly for the citizens that are here that need an alternative form of transportation to and from the different locations within the city.
Now, of course, you mentioned the casinos earlier. They do a good job of keeping their area manicured and so forth and so on, making it viable or very visible to the eye that comes in and seeing our community. But one of the things we've tried to do here at the Daily News is recognize those people, such as Aaron's on Clay Street, whose building just went through a facade lift. That is something that we personally feel like is vital to our community, especially on a major corridor. When a visitor comes through, we want everything to look prim and proper, as they say.
Yes, and we at the city, we would like for that to happen also. We do have several people that have taken advantage of the facade grants that are offered through the Main Street program, and that's something that we offer to business owners if they choose to improve or enhance the appearance of the outsides of their buildings. Also, we have a building and inspections department that pretty well monitors and manages anything that may be out of code. And so with that being said, the codes pretty much are in alignment with our idea of helping to make sure that the community stays looking the way that it should look.
Of course, an unfortunate byproduct of today's society, we have people working off their fines through community service, but that labor goes a long way in keeping this community clean.
It does. It does. And our community service management staff works very diligently towards making sure that those people that are paying off their fines via community service are doing the job. So they're out there picking up paper, they're out there beautifying the community, and they're doing what they need to do in order to pay off those fines.
And one of the things that, an unfortunate fact that was brought to light in the last election, some people said that the mayor was going to discontinue some of these things. In my opinion, he's actually enhanced it in a lot of areas.
I don't know, why one would think that it would have discontinued, and I can't really speak to that, but we work diligently towards making sure that all good services maintain good services and improving on whatever it was that we came into office finding. If there was a partner of some sort that wanted to contribute towards any specific project, they could come to the mayor and the board of aldermen, and they could let them know which project they wanted to contribute towards. The Mission 66 ballpark, we recently put it back into commission last year.
Right.
We had a number of partners that volunteered time. We had the PepsiCo that actually bought a scoreboard for that particular park. And if someone wanted to do something like that, they could come to the mayor and the board and they could suggest what it is that they wanted to do, and we will take them through the process of making whatever contribution that they wanted to make towards whatever project it is that they wanted to make that contribution towards.
Would you would actually be the best point of contact to initiate that?
Well, they could bring it to me, and if they brought it to me, then I will take it through the clerk's office, and then the clerk's office will disseminate it to the entire board, or they could take it directly to the clerk's office, but it will go through the clerk's office in order to be disseminated. They could email it to me at kburks@vicksburg.org, or they could simply place a phone call to me, and I will tell them what the process is for getting a written request over to me, or a written proposal over as to what it was that they wanted to contribute towards the city of Vicksburg. This summer, the mayor had a youth work program initiative, and in that initiative, we had a group of kids that were assigned to the Summer Youth Recreation Park project. In that project, these youth were taught project management from ideation to completion. We wanted to make sure that when the youth left the summer work program, they had a skill set that they could take with them. Also, we wanted to make sure that we, the citizens of Vicksburg, got the full benefit of what the youth had provided. The youth here in Vicksburg went out and they reviewed each one of the parks and playgrounds in the city. They did a needs assessment on each of those parks, and they came back with a list of items that they thought should be improved. From that list, we took it to the mayor and the board of aldermen, and they prioritized the list based on cost, total resources needed, time needed to complete the project, and also the complexity of it. We narrowed that list down, and we went back to the youth with what the mayor and board suggested. After that, the youth assigned a price tag to the list of items in which the mayor and board had reduced the list to. Then they actually did the work. Some of the work that the youth did were they painted the basketball goals. They also made suggestions for adding park benches and any type of cleanup work that needed to be done. For the more difficult work, we got that list and we turned it over to our Parks and Recs department, where we had skilled labor force to do that. Much of what they suggested is being done right now by our Parks and Recs group. Some of the areas didn't have such things as benches. They didn't have trash cans. They did not have grills, and it just was no parity amongst the parks. And so we wanted to make sure that each one of the parks in our neighborhoods were at least at par with the ones that were of a medium, I would say, standard. And so that's a very important initiative that we have for our youth. And the mayor is very big on youth development in the city, and so we're looking forward to bringing that project back next summer, or the summer that's coming up, so that we could first and foremost develop our youth, give them a skill set that they could take away and become productive adults, and also get a service from the youth that they could come back to their home city after they go off to college, and they could see that this is a product of what they actually created.